Of course, the unfortunate part of it is that it took 2.5 hours, that is from 10 to half past midday, for this incident to be reported at Kampala Road Police Post. So you can see during that duration allowed for this killer cop to find his escape. Of course, this is the third shooting of high-profile people in a space of about 2 to 3 weeks, which has stimulated a lot of questions and debate on gun handling protocols and use of deadly force by security personnel. Now, as we look for the answers, we do admit that the actions of our officer are highly regrettable, and it's incredibly disappointing to see an innocent person lose their life in such a manner by a police officer mandated by law and by training to protect lives. So we continue to extend our condolences to the family of Uttam Bandari Sarimal, the Indian community in Uganda, his friends, and the staff of TFS Financial Services. Now, from the findings, it clearly indicates that the actions of our officer were deliberate, planned, and premeditated. Before the 12th, on the 11th of May, the suspect, while in civilian clothes, met with Mr. Uttam Bandari to establish his loan status and further discuss plans on how to trade it off for a salary loan at Stanbic Bank, that is William Street branch, where his salary is actually posted. Of course, so there was no agreement between him and the director of TFS. And this is an officer who had acquired a double loan. He acquired a loan on the 5th of August 2020 of 1 million with an interest of 320,000. So on a monthly basis, he was supposed to pay 110,000 per month for 1 year. And before he could even complete that loan, again on the 5th of May 2021, he acquired a second loan of 1 million on similar terms, but he defaulted after a period of 3 months. So when they failed to agree on the trade-off with Mr. Bandari, the following day now of 12th of May, the suspect in his full uniform picked a rifle with 4 magazines, left his beat at CPS and went straight to meet the director at Raja Chambers. He even signed in the visitor's book, very confident, and went straight to meet Mr. Uttam Bandari. But while in the office, he even didn't sit down. He remained in a standing position with his hand on the gun, and after a short verbal exchange with the director, he cocked his gun, shot the victim, and then moved out. Shortly, he realized that he had left his forms behind, so that is when he returned, and while picking his form, loan form, indicating his bank, his loan balance, he noticed that the Indian victim was still breathing. So he fired additional shots and killed him and killed him. So his target was the victim and no one else. And of course, so after the deadly shooting, the suspect formally he confidently moved out, jumped on a border, which dropped him at CPS. He returned the gun, in the office of the Soko and asked the Soko to watch over his gun. He would come back and pick it, going for a short break. So up to this stage, there was no suspicion because there was no report that was received. I think all the staff in the offices, everybody scampered for their dear life. It's unfortunate that there was no quick reaction or thoughtful attention regarding the conduct of the officer before, during, and after the shooting. So he managed to escape to his village at Walira, that is in Bumango Parish in Busia district, and our flying squad teams with KMP and the DPC Busia managed to intercept him while trying to cross into Kenya. So I want to thank the arresting teams for a job well done. At the time of arrest, this is a suspect who was in very good shape and he was very sound. We transferred him to KMP headquarters and of course, upon interrogation, he did not appear remorseful at all, not even saying sorry for what he did, and he admitted to having murdered the victim for allegedly cheating him on his loan portfolio. So he indicated that he has no remorse, and we've even taken him to the magistrate for an extrajudicial statement. This is a statement where if somebody is confessing that he committed a crime, like for this instance, a capital crime like this one, and is admitting, you take him to the magistrate and an extrajudicial statement is recorded out of his free will. So we have so far examined him, the surgeons examined him, and they found that he's very normal and sound. After the extrajudicial statement, we are going to have a psychiatrist also examine his mental condition. It is true that the tragic murder could have been avoided if the owner of the killer weapon, that is Police Constable Stephen Muromba, had not left it unattended in the room that he shared with the Police Constable Ivan. And of course, as our force policy on use of firearms demands, he should have, PC Muromba should have returned this gun to the armorer before moving out of the station. But without lawful permission, he sneaked out of the station to attend to a personal matter, which is an outright case of gross indiscipline and negligence. As a result, he has also been charged in the disciplinary court with discreditable conduct and dismissed from the force this morning. So he's now a civilian and is going to be taken to the criminal court for negligence of duties as a civilian. Now, to all Ugandans and visitors in the country, we pledge to continue working hard to maintain and improve your trust as before. In an effort to increase transparency, accountability, professionalism, and community safety, we have issued very stringent guidelines on gun handling and use of force to all our officers, and we are now identifying police officers for refresher courses on gun handling, scenario-based exercises, anger management, and de-escalation techniques. So we believe these initiatives will help improve public trust and confidence and even promote better gun handling skills and improve community safety in the public. That was that. Now, previously we indicated how we had arrested several suspects who are behind school attacks and robberies, which were very rampant. I must say that it is now almost coming to 2 months without any new incidents of school attacks, and 3 away from those who were taken to court during the course of last week. 3 additional suspects behind school attacks and robberies were arrested, where our flying squad, in coordination with the territorial units in Wujiri, tracked down 3 notorious suspects who form part of a criminal racket that was targeting schools, and arrested them from their hideout in a rented room in Mukuba Cell, Wujiri municipality. The 3 suspects include Bukenya Nicholas, Gabula Arnold, and Seboa Nicholas. We've managed to transfer them to the flying squad unit headquarters in Chireka. So upon interrogation, these 3 admitted to have participated in a string of school attacks and robberies, and the 12 schools which they robbed include Chadondo Islamic, SS Matuga, St. Pius SS Matsulita, St. John's Junior Seminary in Swanjere, St. Andrew Kagwa Kabimbiri, Al-Madina Primary School Wakiso, Latif Mixed Secondary School Nagalama, Kasau SS in Kasau, St. Mark Primary School Chadondo, Umea Primary School Cheba and Wakiso, Amahororo Community School in Gombe, Wakiso, St. George High School Kasengeje, St. Eliza Nursing and Midwifery School in Njeru. And of course, their ringleader, who was charged to court, still remains Babu Yusuf, who was charged to court for on charges of murder and aggravated robbery, with the St. Emmanuel, Maweje Regan, Mayenyo Paul, Elias Mulefu, and Egesa Dennis. Now, if you notice that before the attacks on schools and robberies, we were also actively tracking down the suspects who were, or the criminal gangs that were actively involved in attacks on petrol stations. And we did this together. So even the 3, when we interrogated them further, they also admitted to having participated in a series of attacks on petrol stations together with Babu Yusuf and the rest. That is petrol stations along Semuto Matuga Road. There were also petrol stations Luero, Bombo Road, a petrol station that was attacked in Busika, then the one of Gayaza and Nakwero. Of course, they were using 2 vehicles, one of Maweje Regan, and the other one was for Mulefu, that is Mayenyo Paul. There are still 5 other members of this notorious racket who are still on the run. Now, although no new attacks have been conducted, we want to remind all school proprietors and administrators, now that we are returning to school, to continue remaining watchful and vigilant, and to always report to the police any suspicious persons in their schools or neighborhoods. But it is also important for them to target harden. Some of the weaknesses that we realized was that the schools that were being attacked. Of course, there was some element of laxity, and the security measures that were in place were not, of course, very stringent. Most of the security guards were using raw weapons of bows and arrows and batons, and yet the attackers had, some of the attackers had guns and very dangerous sharp instruments or tools. Now, most of the guards were above, most of them were above 40 years, others were 50 years, and they were drowned in alcoholism, so the level of alertness was quite poor. Then there were schools which didn't have CCTV cameras that could help. Even the lighting at night was not, could not promote visibility. So we are now using this opportunity to remind school proprietors at least to hire very skilled and well-equipped guards, have CCTVs, strong burglars, and even dealing for them, we encourage them to deal in cashless transactions. Having money, there was a school which had about 110 million in the safe, so it gives an opportunity, it gives an incentive to these criminal gangs to attack the school. Then the Flying Squad unit also cracked down a motorcycle theft gang in North Choga, where they recovered 18 motorcycles. 4 suspects were arrested. This operation was conducted in coordination with the territorial units in North Choga and Oyam in a village called Obangangeo in Achaba sub-county, Oyam district. The 4 suspects include Obang Emmanuel, aged 49, Engol David 40, Adupa Daniel 23, and Owiny Tony. All of these are residents of Oyam. Their ringleader has been identified as Ayo Ambrose, a notorious robber who deals in stolen motorcycles in Lango sub-region and the neighboring districts. So far, 18 motorcycles have been recovered. These include 15 Bajaj motorcycles and 3 Yamaha motorcycles, including a UP 3712 Yamaha, which was attached to the traffic office it was attached to the traffic office that is in Camden. All these motorcycles were transferred to Lira City Division for further management. Of course, the modus operandi is the use of master keys and direct physical attacks on riders and robbery of motorcycles. So we continue to remind border riders that they should know that threats do exist in their sectors, especially from motorcycle thieves who lure them with profitable journeys into ambushes during day and at night. So our task teams have made this fight a priority, and we are continuing to gather, exchange, analyze intelligence surrounding dealers of stolen motorcycles. In a separate development, the Flying Squad unit in West Nile also managed to recover 3 motorcycles that were, 2 of which were robbed by 4 assailants in civilian clothes who had 1 rifle. We managed to recover the rifle and arrest 1 suspect, identified I'll give you the particulars of the suspect. They are not indicated here, but they had robbed money from Asuman hardware shop. that is located in Terego. Now, I think about 2 weeks ago, there was a TikTok fan who recorded himself with an underage girl in a lodge, and it was a video that created a lot of debate, and we were put to task to ensure that we track down this suspect and have him arrested. So I want to confirm to you today that the Territorial Police in Mubende, in close coordination with the Kampala Metropolitan East and Chitintale Police, managed to track down and arrest a suspect who recorded himself in a video that was shared on TikTok, sexually assaulting, kissing, molesting a 16-year-old student in a lodge. The suspect has been, upon arrest, has been identified as Joseph Ngoma, who was arrested from his hideout in Chitintale. Now, this incident happened on the 4th of May, where the 16-year-old victim left their home and boarded a boda to go for coaching lessons during the holiday. So when they reached Madudu Trading Center, this Joseph Ngoma created an excuse that he wanted to branch and pick a few personal items from his home. So the victim was okay with it, and they rode a distance of 100 meters along Madudu Mubende Road. Instead, this man stopped at a bar and lodge, where he went and interacted with the manager of this lodge, and managed to convince the girl to proceed with her to go and carry a few personal items for him. So when they reached behind the bar where the rooms were, he dragged this girl into the lodge and started recording, and with all the pomp showing that he had married off this underage girl. It was a very bad recording. He went on to forcefully defile this victim, and after which told her to go back home. So it was after 4 days that this suspect shared the video recordings on TikTok. They went viral up to the mother of the victim, and she reported at Mubende police station. The victim was taken for medical examination, and proof of sexual violence and assault was established. She led us to the bar and lodge at Ngabano village in Madudu sub-county, where we arrested the lodge attendant, the bar and lodge attendant called Sylvia Nanchinga, 25-year-old, for procuring defilement after the girl was found to be 16 years. And now we've noticed a growing trend of a number of social media fans, social media followers live streaming themselves or recording crimes. Now, this is very wrong. Why would someone videotape themselves committing a crime? From an ethical point of view, we want to encourage netizens to stop this behavior, because in one way or another, you're glorifying that very particular time of crime. What we can only encourage is somebody recording a video for evidentiary or for evidential purposes, and then you even share it with the police. Now, most of the videos we see coming out, recording crimes and so on, the person recording does not mention where the incident occurred, so that it can even give us as the police and security agencies is, if you are ambiguous in your recording, you just record something and you drop it like that, indicate that this recording is maybe from Chitintale, this village or zone. Police, please start from there. That is something that can be. But now you leave the thing open. We start grappling with where the video was recorded, and you know the process that it takes. It takes a very long process. So, as police, we want to. Our SGB Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Unit is in touch with the victim and taking her through counseling and therapy. And we are going to ensure that this child sexual predator, Joseph Ngoma, is fast-tracked through the criminal justice system. Then we also want to talk about another very disturbing video that went viral, where police in Greater Busoga, that is Chira and Jinja, managed to arrest a stepmother who allegedly fed a stepdaughter with the human feces. And so this morning we managed to arrest a one called Naviri Esther, a 26-year-old housewife. To one
katutetegamye mu empeereza eno tupeeku ne bye tukutuusaako. Katutetegamye mu empeereza